What's up, YouTube fans? Today I'm going to take a look at the FansToys Maverick, their version of Silverbolt. This thing came today, so I haven't had a lot of time to mess with this, but I wanted to get this out as soon as I could. There's a lot of quirks with this guy, so we'll talk about those. But here's the box. We do have that artwork by Iohannes once again. I love the artwork kind of everywhere. Here's the jet mode, here's the vehicle and the jet. And on the back you got some product shots. No real information about combined mode, just the vehicle mode. They're keeping that combined mode really tight to the chest on how it works and what those parts are going to be. But this is what you get, and it looks good. So that's really it for the box. And here you have the figure, and I do have it adjusted basically out of the box. It needs some minor transformation to occur so that it actually looks correct, but this is the correct transformation, and I think it looks really good. Here, let's take a quick 360. Everything on this guy is painted everywhere. Literally everything. All the orange pieces, all of the grayish white pieces, the black, the maroon, that's all. I mean, this is actually metallic paint. There's metallic paint here. Everything is painted. The face is painted. There's almost nothing without paint. There's a couple of, translucent pieces here and there on the chest and on the feet. I like those pieces. I think that's a good addition. But literally everything is painted, and that's a good thing. As far as some of the things that come out of the box, there's a few issues. So one is the knee. So when it comes in the box, this peg is down and the knee's like this, so it's a little bit loose. And the knee, it's a little less secure. It's not like super unsecure, but you want to lift up this tab here and then peg this in, and that gives a little bit more sturdiness there. So that's one thing. The other thing is this hip skirt is folded up like this. So if you're looking at it from the side, I'll pull this out. If you're looking at it from the side, you see kind of a gap there. So you want to open this up and put that down, and then that covers up the hole there. And then the last thing is the shoulders. That's the thing that people have been really confused about, and it's definitely mistransformed out of the box. So you got to do a couple things. So I'm going to show you kind of how it looks when you get it in the box, and it's a little hard to get to. There you go. So you got to take all this, and when you get it, let's see. There we go. When you get it in the box, it looks like this. It's got this little piece. So here's the correctly transformed piece, and here's the not correctly transformed. And you can see it looks crazy. For one, the shoulder's a little too low. And number two, you got all this kibble hanging out. Well, that's because that all becomes part of the actual figure. So you got to fold this out, fold this down, fold out this little peg here. There are a lot of little pegs on this guy, and actually I think it's fine. It's just you got to be aware of them. And you kind of move this around to the back, and this becomes the peg for the top. Let's get a little closer here. This becomes the peg for this top piece right here. And then this goes into the bottom. Actually, this one's a little bit trickier to get in, so you probably want to do that first. And that fits right into a peg on his abdomen, or a slot right in his abdomen. So with those changes, he is, one, more sturdy, and two, looks better. So a lot of the complaints that people have been having have to do with just mistransformation right out of the box. Once you play with him and kind of adjust him, you'll see that he is really a good figure. So, and then you want to push the arm in, and it actually goes up and in. And that's the kind of look you want. And you do have a lot of detail and paint on this guy. But once you get it transformed correctly, it definitely looks better. So Let's take a look at the articulation. So you do have the head on a swivel. It can look up and down, although it's a little bit hindered by this here. But it does go all the way around and look up and down. The down is kind of limited based on the head, the bottom of the head, the shape of the head. You do have a rotation at the bicep. You can actually pull this out for a little bit more articulation if you have to do some extra posing. So that's good. But you can also push it back in if you want it to be nice and tidy. You can get the arms all the way out because of that joint, and that's good. You do have a rotation at the bicep, a single jointed elbow that gets you to there. Although I wonder if, yeah, single jointed elbow. You do have a rotation at the wrist, and then the typical FansToys hands here at the bottom. Those are what we've come to know and expect. Good hands. You do have hip skirts here that fold up, and the side piece is also attached. You don't really need much of it, but you do get the leg going all the way up to there, and all the way back to there, and out to the side. The side is a soft ratchet. It's not even a ratchet, just a friction joint, and it's good enough, but it feels a little weak. Yeah, this one's actually kind of weak. So there's a joint in here to pull it out, but yeah, it doesn't really hold its own weight on this one. This one seems to be better, and maybe if I adjust that screw, that'll tighten it. But it is heavy, and it probably could have used a ratchet there. You do have a 90-degree bend at the knee, maybe a little over 90-degree bend, a rotation at the thigh. You have ankle tilts, not too much, but about to there. And then ankle rocker, you have plenty of that all the way up to there. You actually can open up this panel, and that lets you go all the way up to there. So that's for transformation, but also allows you to do that for posing. So plenty of articulation on this guy. For a big bot, he is well articulated. Here's the back of the figure. It's pretty clean. Not a lot of kibble on this guy. For what he is, there's not a lot of kibble. I guess you could say there is kibble because you got these wings and stuff. There's also an alternate way to transform this. You can kind of put these back like this and kind of put them against the back, and that frees up the sides, but then they're kind of loose and they don't stay in place. So you want them in, tucked back in there. And once you have it tucked back there, it's pretty clean, and it holds together pretty well. Oh, I forgot, you do have a waist rotation, no ab crunch, but you do have a rotation. It is a little bit hindered by the hip skirts, but you do have it. So that is pretty much all the articulation on this guy. Let's take a look at the accessories he comes with. So he does come with a gun, and that does fit in his hand. It's the standard, peg, so we're not going to show that on camera. There he is with his gun, and it looks good. It's a good size. It is painted, just like everything else on this guy. Everything is painted, and so is that gun. So that looks good. I think it's a well done accessory. You do get two head sculpts, or basically the same exact head sculpts. It's a little bit confusing. I'm not sure why they included this. Here's the other one. It's the exact same head. It is a different face, but it's the exact same head. So I'm not sure why they included it. But you do get that. You also get this alternate face with kind of the yelling face. So we'll take a look at all of those. So there he is with the kind of toonish face. I'm not really sure what this is supposed to represent. I think it's maybe it's more toy-like, but this is one of the alternate faces. There he is with the yelling face, and this one looks pretty good. Oops, I haven't screwed it back together, but and there he is with the standard face. This is the one that comes with him by default. I think this one's fine. There's not really any reason to change it, so I'll probably leave this one on. As far as other things in the box, you do get a collector's card. It's a nice collector's card here. I like this a lot. It's got the render on the front and then the actual product shot on the back, and is tech specs. And then you also get the manual here. Pretty good manual. There are some steps that are a little bit confusing, but overall I was able to do this, you know, using these instructions. There's a couple steps that are a little bit tough, but pretty good instructions. I love that it's color and that there's arrows and stuff. It makes it easier. So that's really it for this, what comes with the figure. Let's take a look at some size comparisons. So there he is next to the Transform Element Optimus Prime and the Takara Tomy version of Smokescreen, and I like the size. I think he looks good. He is definitely bigger than a Seeker, far bigger than a Seeker, but I think this is a good scale. I feel like people have been saying he's too big. Honestly, I like the size. I think he should be a little bit bigger. Now the other jets, yeah, they should be smaller, but he's the leader. He should be big. That's my opinion. I enjoy the size. And there he's next to a Decepticon Seeker. This is the Make Toys version. I don't have the official anymore. But again, he is definitely way bigger. I like the size. So let's take a look at the G1 cartoon in robot mode. And hopefully I can find a shot with some other bots, but pretty darn close to the cartoon as far as colors, paint, you know, looks, aesthetics. I like that they make it a little bit more adult. They add a little bit of detail, you know, some extra little colors and stuff like that. That definitely adds to the figure. I think that's a good idea. So that's really it for this figure. The robot mode. Now it's time to take a look at the transformation. Now, I've only had this for a couple hours, so if I botch this transformation, please forgive me, but I will do my best to show the transformation. So take the gun out. There are a lot of steps and a lot of panels. It's actually, I honestly like this transformation a little bit better than the Roadmaster, or whatever, the Road King, their version of Motormaster, only because there's less paneling and it feels a little bit more solid. You know, there's a lot of die cast in here. You're paying a pretty penny for this, but you're also getting, you know, good money's worth. Alright, so let's start working on this guy. So first thing, you can unplug this backpack, get that separated. And now you can kind of get all of this separated here. You're going to have to undo these pieces here. So basically the shoulders are separated. Then you can kind of fold this stuff away. Actually pull the arms out. That gives you a little bit of room to work. You can just put them upwards and kind of up and out of the way, so they're not bothering you. Now you can work on these pieces here and just take that, unpeg it from in there, fold that up in there, and just leave this here for now. Same on this side, unpeg it, and that kind of unlocks the entire chest piece. So you gotta get that red piece out first and just kind of leave it there for now. Now you can see the whole backpack has come loose, and this is where all the crazy stuff is. And you can see this is all the fuselage of the jet, and it's well hidden. It's just, you know, it's a little bit floppy when you're trying to deal with the transformation. So kind of get that out of your way for a minute. Fold these up for a second and fold these in so that can get out of your way. And now we got to kind of take care of the legs. So now that we have this all loose, actually you can fold the head in right in there and leave it there for now. That's actually a later step, but you can do it now. Alright, now you kind of want to get this apart. So first you can pull these off, and that frees up the leg. Same on this side, pull those off and pull out these nose cone. Oh, you can also get rid of the feet here, so let's do that first. So, sorry, there's a lot of pieces here. It's hard to keep track of everything. Push these little panels upwards, fold the foot in, and then again in, and then again in. So 3 times. Push up the panel, fold the foot, and that should all stow away like that. Okay, now you can deal with all this in the back here. So open this up, pull out this nose here, and you're going to want to rotate this. Oh yeah, and also unpeg these from the knees. It sometimes gets a little stuck, so you gotta be careful, and then push these tabs down. Okay. And then these pieces are gonna set down like that, down below where it was on the knee. Pull those out. And you can pull these tail fin out, and that's just going to peg right in there on the back. Same over here. Peg that in on the back. It's very secure back here. Everything kind of fits together. And here's where it's kind of clunky, but pull this piece up, and that frees these 2 leg pieces. Okay, you have to push this upwards into the thigh, so it kind of collapses on itself. And all right, next you're going to get these hip skirts kind of folded in here, and they just fold up right inside the abdomen there. Okay. And you can push the legs together at this point. And that, you can kind of see that's going to make the back of the jet. And this is a little bit tricky to push together later on, so I like to push this together early so that I can actually reach in there and actually get it really squeezed tight. The paint kind of prevents it from getting squeezed tight, so you want to be able to access this. Later on it gets a little bit harder to access that. Okay, so you're gonna get all this kibble out of the way. You're gonna rotate this whole thing 180 degrees, and now you can see it's starting to come together. We've got to undo this whole chest piece here. Let's see. Okay, so basically you're going to unpeg this chest. There's 2 tabs, one there and one there. Same on the other end. Untab that chest. And that will free it from here. You want to flip the whole thing downwards. Actually, you're better off just leaving that up there. But you want to flip this whole middle piece down across the body. Like that. Okay. And eventually those are going to end up right in here in these grooves. So just leave it there for now. We'll take care of that a little bit later. It does kind of look like a mess, but just leave that all dangling for now. Okay. Now we can kind of deal with this cockpit. So this one up front is actually pretty easy. So you can actually push this down in, open these, cockpit pieces, and those just push together. That's probably the easiest part of this entire transformation, is putting that together. Alright, so next you want to get these panels up inside. So open them like that, and then flip those to the inside. And it's a little tricky, you gotta work it around some stuff, but it does go in there, it kind of fits perfectly. Same with this side. Get that rotated in, and it fits right in there. It doesn't feel great, but it's okay. Just be careful with that. Now you can work this whole nose cone piece. So get this first piece down on top, and that fit right over those ab pieces we just put in. And then this nose cone piece is pretty simple. It just tabs right in there like that. Now you can put this piece in, and they all kind of tab together. It's actually very secure. I'm impressed with how well this thing fits together. But let's keep going with these fuselage pieces. So this will accordion inwards and fit right on top, I think. Yes. So that one fits together. And finally this one, make sure you have the wings folded downwards, because it's got to fit underneath these wings here. Hopefully this isn't focused. I'm not sure if it is. If it isn't, I apologize. Okay. Now you can kind of see how it's all coming together. That tabs in right there. There we go. And I do this out of order, so if you're following the instructions, this isn't how they tell you to do it, but I do it this way because later it gets hard to do. So you want to get all these wing pieces tabbed in. So just to show you, there's two tabs there. There's one that here goes on the top, and then this one's going to tab in on the side. So kind of get them all situated, and it will fit together very nicely if you have it all correct. And then you can put this part in too. It all tabs in very securely, very nicely. I was actually really impressed. I thought, you know, how could these panels actually fit together well, but they do. So same on this side, kind of get this all tabbed in together. There you go. So we got all the wings taken. Actually, we're going to leave that down for now because we're going to be turning this upside down. So now we got to sort out these arms. And the arms are a little bit tricky. So fold this up, fold it down. So you've got it lengthwise like this. Okay. It's very hard to show. This is a very big bot, so it's hard to show. You know, the size of this jet is actually huge. This is bigger than anything I own. Bigger than Jetfire, actually, as far as length is concerned. Alright, so now that you have it down like this, you kind of need to get everything collapsed, but you also need to work with these arms. So I'm going to show like this. Maybe this is the best way to do it. So you want to open up these arms by unpegging this hand first. And I think I need a tool here because it's a little tight. There we go. So unpeg the hand. And then you're going to open up this entire piece. And the hand is actually fold the hand flat. The hand's going to push through. On the other side, you want to lay the hand in flat inside this piece. Just like, actually you can put the palm down and have it lay flat just like that. Okay. Push this in so it collapses down. and push this in. That collapses down. And then you're going to kind of make a box out of this. So. Oh, there we go. Okay. So everything kind of folds up and accordions away into this little arm piece here. And this doesn't peg together, but it should close. Okay. And then you're going to flip this over, and this all tabs in, and it's pretty crazy. So there's a lot of tabs. So you can see there's two here that go into the bottom here. Oh, we got to flip this around. I'm sorry. There we go. Okay, now you can tap everything in. And make sure you have this all the way out so that it's going to fit in the right spot. So fold it down right here in that groove. Push that metal in. It actually says in the instructions, force it, which I don't like those instructions. But push it in. You don't have to force it. And then find where everything fits in and just start tabbing away. It's, I don't really have a good way to explain where everything is. There's a couple tabs there. And there's a couple tabs on the inside. There's a lot of tabbing to do. So start working on that. And you do have to move things around a little bit to just get it all situated, but it does fit together. So if you got it right, you'll feel it all tab. Oh, lost my wing pieces here. That's probably why they tell you to do this last, because it's all going to come apart as you're tabbing the arms in. So let's just leave that alone. Alright, so same on this side, you want to get this arm all situated. So, and then when you're kind of getting close to the end, you can just push these wings inwards to get it all situated. Pull the tail up now. It actually goes right in the middle, which is cool. And then you can pull down these landing gear. They're actually really nice landing gear. Very, very solid. Like they're not going to break. There we go. Finally got that in there. And then on the front landing gear, you're going to open up this. I apologize for being off camera here. This is a very big robot. I'm going to show you a scale just so you can see how big. But these are all die cast, these wheels. And there you have the Concorde. And this is Silverbolt in his vehicle mode. Now, this thing is beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. You do get the adjustable cone here. It goes down just a little bit. I don't really care about that. I'll just keep it straight. But for those of you that are nuts about, accuracy to the vehicle, you can do that. And here he is with the Masterpiece Blue Streak, my trusty old Blue Streak. And he's big. He's a big bot. This is definitely not into scale. If you're looking at a real Concorde, you're comparing it to this vehicle, they don't scale. But to me, this is good. I like the size, and I like the overall. I like the look of the jet. It's very long. So there it is. It's very long, but it looks good. So I'm happy with it. So final thoughts wise, I think this is a really good figure, a good release by FansToys. If you already have the Zeta version of this figure, then you probably don't need this. We don't really know what the combined mode is going to look like or how stable it's going to be. So it's hard to say at this point whether you should get this or the Zeta. The Zeta definitely killed the combined mode, the Superion. So it's tough, right? This is such a good vehicle and robot mode, but there's no telling how this is going to hold up for one. You know, is this actually going to, you know, stand the test of time? That's one question. I am noticing that some of this is coming apart, but that's one thing. The other question is, how will the combine mode stand up, right? Will it be sturdy? Will it, you know, stay together? You know, I'm noticing little things in there like, you know, paint chipping and stuff like that. I'll just show you right here. It's a little bit of paint chipping. It's not a big deal. Overall, it's very well painted and beautiful figure. But that's my question: is FansToys products, right? They weren't really designed for continuous transformation back and forth. They're really designed to look good on the shelf. Can they make a combiner that can be stable and stay together and not break? That's to be seen. But I definitely recommend this if you don't have a Silverbolt. This is a great figure. If you do have a Silverbolt and you just like Masterpiece figures, I still recommend this. If you're looking for combine mode, I don't know the answer yet. So that's really it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave any comments below. You can also check out some images on my Facebook page. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.